Kayo po, hindi po ba kayo magre-resign? At sinabi niya, hindi daw.
Interesante yung sinabi ni Chief Justice Corona ukol doon sa basis niya ng hindi pagboto kay Ombudsman Morales bilang ombudsman. Sinabi niya hindi doon niya binoto sa JBC sapagkat hindi niya kaalyado, to use the term na ginamit. At nagsimula daw ito dahil tila hindi siya sinuportahan para maging Chief Justice during the time na nagkakaroon ng appointment sapagkat he was citing the fact that si Justice Carpio ay kamag-anak ng kasulukuyang ombudsman at patuloy ang kanyang mga statements. Nandun umabot na nga rin sa isang issue tungkol doon sa retirement ni Ombudsman Morales na mas mataas daw ayon sa Chief Justice ang kanyang nire-request kahit na hindi naman nakausap directly ni Chief Justice si Ombudsman Morales, and the average daw is 500,000 or ₱500,000 pesos retirement. Mas mataas ang hiningi.
Just to give us an understanding dito sa proseso na pinagdadaanan sa JBC, itong prosesong nabanggit ng Chief Justice, ano po ba yung basehan na lang ng kanilang pag-i-endorso dito sa isang nominee? Ano dapat ang nagiging batayan, Attorney Joey, ng mga miyembro ng JBC?
Nabanggit ng ating punong mahistrado na umuupo nga siya bilang chairman ng JBC, at kasama na dito sa kanilang obligasyon pag naisumite sa kanila ang list of nominated ombudsman, for example, ay kailangan nilang suriin ng background, kailangan nilang tingnan ang competence ng bawat na shortlister na i-nominate sa kanila. Ang medyo nakakapagtaka lamang ay mukhang doon sa kaniyang mga binanggit kung bakit hindi niya ibinoto or in-endorse si Ombudsman Carpio Morales, ay walang lumalabas ditong issue laban sa kaniyang competence. At mukhang ang lumalabas ay yung kaniyang personal relationship na hindi maganda at yung ang kaniyang ginamit na term ay mutual distrust na nagkakaigiran sila ni Ombudsman Carpio Morales na parang hindi yata objective yung ganitong klaseng criteria na ginamit ni Chief Justice Corona sa kanyang hindi pagsuporta or pagboto in favor of Ombudsman Carpio Morales.
Pero, Attorney, ano yung basis of voting dito? Anong criteria ang sinusundan na, di ba, halimbawa na lang itong JBC ay composed of the DOJ Secretary, the Chief Justice, a member from the House and the Senate, miyembro po mula sa IBP, tsaka sa Academe as bilang interim member. Ano po yung nagiging basehan nila sa pagkuha ng pagpasok ng isang justice, ombudsman, etc.?
Ito ay nababase, unang-una, syempre nagsasubmit ka ng iyong biodata, nagsasubmit ka ng iyong mga supporting documents or testimonials or references, at tinitingnan na rin syempre ang iyong expertise as built over the years, yung iyong pagiging dalubhasa sa batas na sinasabi. At titingnan din dito, of course, bukod sa competence, ay ang iyong integridad. Meron ka bang naging kaso laban sa iyo? Nagkaroon ba ng problema o meron bang complaint laban sa iyo? So, itong lahat ng bagay, kung para kang dumadaan sa commission on appointments na sinusuri ng masugid ng bawat miyembro ng JBC ang iyong qualifications, ang iyong expertise, ang iyong background, ang iyong integridad. At hindi naman nababanggit dito kung anong relasyon mo or dynamics mo sa mga ibang miyembro ng JBC. Kaya medyo nakapagtataka yung binanggit na dahilan ng ating punong mahistrado kung bakit hindi niya sinuportahan.
So pwede palang basis yung hindi ko kasi ito kaalyado. Ano ba? Pasensya na, to be frank, kasi importante na maintindihan yung standards. Ang pinag-uusapan natin kasi as may say is moral fitness of someone serving in the judiciary or a constitutional body, etc., etc. And parang a criteria pala is hindi mo kaalyado, and that raises a lot of questions.
Yun sana yung gusto kong sabihin na mas maganda yung pagkasabi na hindi dapat ito kasama sa criteria ng iyong pag-endorse o hindi pag-support sa isang nominee.
They're taking his blood pressure, Mr. President.
ang live video na nagmumula po sa loob ng Senate Session Hall. Suspendido pa rin po ang paglilitis habang chine-check up ng medical team ang punong mahistrado. Kanina po ay nakita natin na siya ay kinukuhanan ng kanyang heart rate at ngayon naman po ay tinitingnan ang kanyang blood pressure. Hindi natin masyado makita, no? Hindi natin alam kung ano ang kanyang blood pressure, pero umaasa tayo lahat, Gio, na normal ito para maipagpatuloy na nga at matapos itong nagiging pagtatanong sa punong mahistrado. Pero mukhang maayos naman ang kanyang vital signs dahil siya ay tumatayo na.
Nakikita natin, isa rin sa mga naging diskusyonan kanina ay yung kung magkano talaga ang pera na mayroon ng Chief Justice. At ayon sa kanyang pag-amin, kung US dollars ang basihan, meron daw siyang 2.4 million US dollars. At kung pesos po ang basihan, ay meron siyang 80 million pesos. Pero kung ikukumpara mo ito doon sa 2010 SALN ni Chief Justice, nasa around 3.5 million ang kanyang dineclare. At this would raise again a lot of questions. Nagbigay siya ng dahilan na commingled funds ang meron po doon sa kanyang peso accounts at inexplain niya ang mga sources nito na may nanggaling sa Basa Guedote, may nakuha mula sa interest na 10 million, sa kanyang anak na si Charina na 15 million na which owned an interest of 6 million, kay Carla naman po na 4 million, sa kanyang anak na si Francis na 2 million at yung tinatawag na Coronado Fund in the name of the mother of Chief Justice Corona, 6.3 million.
Gio, pansamantala lang para sa ating mga manonood, ang Chief Justice po ay kinukunan ng sample ng kanyang dugo. Ito po ilalagay sa isang machine para malaman yung kanyang blood sugar count. They are just making sure na hindi na naman maulit itong pagiging hypoglycemic nitong Chief Justice.
So ngayon, binibigyan yata ng sweets ang punong maestrado na kumakain siya ng cupcake ngayon at napainom ng soft drinks para dito sa break after somewhat a check-up of, if hindi ako nagkakamali, base doon sa patch na nasuot ng doktor, it is the Senate doctor that addressed or checked his blood pressure.
Attorney, nabanggit natin itong commingled funds nga. Ano yung maaaring pwedeng ipresenta ng depensa kung papayagan pa, kung sakasakali ng Senado, para ma-prove na commingled nga ito at hindi lamang sa punong mahistrado itong 80 million na ito?
Siguro kung merong mga dokumento, may mga deposit slips na magpapakita na yung ibang pondo ay galing halimbawa kay Sarina o kaya kay Carla, or gaya ng sinasabi ni Chief Justice Corona na ito ay maaaring mga remittance sa kanya dahil nagpapagawa or balak ng magpagawa ng bahay nitong si Sarina sa McKinley Hill. Siguro magandang mapakita itong mga remittance orders or wire transfer orders. No? Ang isang mas malaking katanungan dito ay dahil nga mukhang ito na ang huling pagkakataon para magpresenta ng ebidensya ang defense at sinasabing magkakaroon na ng summation and closing sa Lunes, mukhang hindi magkakaroon ng pagkakataon para magpakita ng ganitong klaseng documentary or substantiating evidence, yung magpapatunay or magdaragdag ng substansya doon sa testimonya ni Chief Justice Corona. Mukhang ang lalabas ay kung ano lamang ang sasabihin ni Chief Justice Corona ay either paniwalaan mo or hindi. Ang kanyang testimony tumatayo sa kanyang stature, ang kanyang credibility bilang Chief Justice.
Kaya papansinin natin ay matapos itong short check-up, nakabalik na po sa witness stand si Chief Justice Renato Corona at muli na po siguro siya makapagpapatuloy ng mga pagsagot sa mga tanong ng mga senator judges. At kung titingnan natin, Kathy, wala nang cross, wala nang direct examination na naganap mula sa prosecution at sa depensa. Ngayon ay puro clarificatory questions na lang mula sa mga senator judges. At where we stopped is with Senator Judge Jinggoy Estrada.
So sa tingin natin mukhang maayos naman ang lagay ng punong mahistrado ngayon. Otherwise, hindi na siya pinayagang bumalik dyan sa witness stand ng Senate medical team. So ilang sandali na lang po ay magpapatuloy na naman itong paglilitis ng punong mahistrado. Samantala, tanungin natin si Carl, ano yung mga naging reaction mo tungkol unang-una dito sa pinakahuling naging pahayag ng Chief Justice dun sa naging basehan niya sa hindi pagboto para kay Ombudsman Merceditas Gutierrez sa JBC?
For me po, to be honest, nakakahiya na yun yung ginagamit na dahilan ng ating Chief Justice to nominate or not nominate somebody for a very important position. Parang pwede naman po sana niya sabihin kahit hindi siya maniwala doon na parang hindi niya, sa tingin niya hindi karapat-dapat sa pwesto for one reason or another, pero yung mga kinuwento niya po parang may mga puot, may mga hindi niya kaalyado, ganun. So, nakakabahala po yung ganung reasoning na for someone who's supposed to be the highest arbiter of what's wrong and what's right in this country, you could not defend your previous actions in a manner that could be understood by a common person.
Carl, nasabi rin ng ombudsman, ng Chief Justice, yung panawagan na nagpagamit ang ombudsman sa current administration. What are your comments on this? Sa
tingin ko po, kasi po sinasabi niya na may mga rules o due process na na-violate dun sa pagkakalahad ng AMLAC report. Sa tingin ko naman po, malinaw naman po sa sinabi ni Ombudsman, there was no investigation. She was merely asking assistance from another government agency. And so, okay, above board naman po yun nangyari.
Majority Floor Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, we're ready to resume with the continuation of the clarifications.
Yes,
may we recognize Senator Drilon, Mr. President?
The gentleman from Iloilo, Senator Drilon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to raise a few clarificatory questions. Mr. Chief Justice, we go back to the issue in this impeachment trial. The issue is whether or not you reflected correctly in your statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth your assets for the years in question. And just to save time, I have prepared a PowerPoint presentation which will show to you our analysis of your amount of the accounts and amounts reported in the various accounts. Can we start with the year 2005? In the year 2005, your SALN reflected a deposit of cash of 3,300,000. Now, we checked the evidence, and the evidence on record shows a BPI peso account with a balance of 149,767.36 and some substantial dollar accounts as reflected there. If you go back to 2005, the total dollars reflected per the records, per the evidence on record, is $700,265.12. And in fact, some of these dollars account were reflected in what you have presented to this court as the lantern. Specifically, I refer in, for example, PS Bank Cainta, account number 141-007-12. Per your presentation, you opened this on January 14, 2005, with a deposit of $57,000, as reflected in the AMLAC report, and it was closed on 6 October 2008, per your own presentation. And a credit memo or deposit of $15,242 on July 19, 2005. This is on page 5 of Exhibit 11.
Continue.
Okay.
You may have
Okay.
additional 2 minutes.
All right. So can we just go quickly? 2005, this is the SALN and the accounts. 2006, the SALN, your report of 2.5 billion. The total 2006 is $700,265.12 and a total peso of 153,000. 2007. SALN, 2.5 million. Total peso deposits, 10,087,966.44. Total dollar deposits, 414,611.39. 2008, SALN, 2.5 million. Total peso deposits, 1,525,857. Total dollar deposits, 768,733.96. 2009 SALN, 2.5 million. Total peso deposits, $9.1 million, $733.96. And 2010, total SALN reflection of cash, 3.5 billion. Total peso deposits, 31,752,623, and dollar deposit of $768,733.96. Now, you just mentioned that you have $2.4 billion and 80.7 million pesos. Apparently, none of this is being reflected in your SALNs, Mr. Chief Justice. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. But I already explained that last Tuesday. And the reason is because I believe that the dollar deposits need not be reported in the SALN because of Republic Act 6426.
Okay. So,
Po, yung pesos naman po, gaya po nung pinaliwanag ko, hindi ko po rin i-report yun kasi commingled funds yun. Nang hindi, sa pangangasiwa ko lang po yun, hindi naman po sa amin yun.
okay. Yun po ay sa pangangasiwa mo. Ngunit hindi ba dapat yung pera na sa pangangasiwa mo ay dapat i-report mo rin at yung corresponding liability ay i-report mo? Halimbawa, 34.7 million ang inyong hawak for BGI. Yan po ay liability. Ngunit yan din po ay asset, hindi po ba yun?
Pardon me, Senator, pero hindi po ako accountant.
Okay,
hindi
sige.
po ako nakakaintindi ng mga asset debit credit na yan. Naintindihan ko lang po yung ordinaryong pagkakaintindi ng abogado dyan na hindi naman akin, hindi ko naman inutang, kaya hindi ko naman po kailangan i-report.
Okay, sige. So, factually, there is no dispute there. You did not report it. In the same manner that you did not report your dollars because in your view, the law provide you full secrecy of the dollar accounts. Now, when did you start depositing in dollars? Just last question. When did you start depositing your amount, your monies in dollars in the banks?
Siguro po kung hindi po ako nagkakamali, mga 1972, 73, mga ganun po. Kasi bagamat nag-iipon, nagpapapalit na po kami ng dollar noon, nung umpisa po, hindi naman kayo pwedeng mag-open ng dollar account sa bangko eh. Kasi po, at that time, I think the government was, you were required to, at least the businessmen, those who were earning dollars from their businesses, had to surrender their dollars. Yung mga ordinaryong tao naman po katulad natin na magbabiyahe halimbawa, tapos may sosobra, hindi na natin binabalik sa bangko yon, tinatago na natin yon. Kung mayroong kaibigan na nangangailangan ng pesos, meron siyang dollar, o gusto mo bilhin yung dollar ko, o sige, bibili ko yung dollar mo. Tinatago lang po natin yon. Hindi po pwede mag-deposito nun eh. Noong mga 72, 73, hindi ko po matandaan yung year na yon, parang naglabas po wala pa po yung FCDU law. Ang tawag pa yata nila ron yung parang 343 account yata ang tawag doon eh. Yung Central Bank Circular 343 allowing people who had dollars to open dollar accounts. Pero parang nag-umpisa yata po yun, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, around 72 or 73. Doon lang po ako nakapag-deposito nun.
Yeah. For the record, the FCDU accounts were started in 1974. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Po.
May we recognize him?
Hindi pwede.
Who is next?
I'll just, if the court will allow me, Your Honor, may I just be given only 1 minute, Your Honor, to make a short statement. I notice in there the 700. Sorry, Your Honor, I'm not yet permitted.
What is the pleasure of the gentleman from the defense?
Thank you. Because there is
What is your pleasure?
There is the statement there, Your Honor, that per testimony of Mr. Garcia, there was something 738 Your Honor. I understand, based on the record of the proceedings, if I am correct, because I was going over them several nights, this was not pursued by Mr. Garcia because there is a restraining order, Your Honor. And we do not know, it was not even marked, Your Honor, neither the amount. And he was very clear before this court that in view of this restraining order, Your Honor, he cannot proceed with his testimony on this dollar account.
Anyway, we record your manifestation.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Can I just respond to the manifestation, sir?
The gentleman from Iloilo.
Yes, that is correct. Mr. Garcia only testified on the account number.
Correct.
The amount of 768,000 is reflected in the AMLA report, which has the same account number ending 0373. That is the account number identified by Mr. Garcia as existing to the and owned by the Chief Justice, and the amount of $768,000, 733.96 is reflected in the AMLAC report with the same account number. Just to clarify.
I would not go any further, Your Honor, because I'm worried that I might incur the displeasure of the entire impeachment court. But the AMLA report is under question. There is no authentication.
No. You can speak, but I would like to remind the defense that the ombudsman was your witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
And,
yes, Your Honor.
Whatever she presented here will be treated as a part of your evidence.
No, but if we go by the rules of procedure and evidence, Your
What
Honor.
is the procedure? What is the material rule of evidence on this?
If the court allows the introduction of the testimony of a witness who is hostile, his or her testimony shall not be considered as against the party calling him to the stand. Neither will it be considered as testimony as against the other party, Your Honor.
What section of the rules of evidence would that be?
That is the if I recall correctly, Your Honor, it's a jurisprudence on the point. Hong Kong Bank versus Volume 53. I have that before, but I'm not.
Anyway, we will evaluate this matter, and we will study the rules.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. May we recognize Senator Pangilinan?
Senator Pangilinan.
Magandang hapon po, Ginoong Chief Justice.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo.
Sabi po ninyo kanina po, mayroon po kayong $2.4 million na dollar account at nasa pangalan po ninyo at 80 million pesos sa pangalan po ninyo. Na hindi pa ho kasama yung mga nakapangalan po sa inyong ari-arian, ano? Sa salin po ninyo noong 2010, 22 million lang po ang nakalagay. Hindi ho ba pagka tayo po ay nagdeklara ng ating Statement of Assets and Liabilities and Net Worth, kinakailangan ilagay po ang lahat po ng assets. Meron po kayong dahilan. Sabi po ninyo, mayroong absolute confidentiality. Pero hindi ho ba napakalayo po nung 22 million pesos na dineklara po ninyo